By now, we've all heard about the plague that is alpha male boot camps, where men spend upwards of $18,000 to learn how to be a man. But unfortunately, that fad died quicker than a TikTok trend, and now they're targeting teenagers. What's going on, party people? How are you all doing? And yes, today we are exploring the new grift, which is grown men paying $2,000 to learn that their sons still don't want to stay with them on the weekends. Before we get it further, press subscribe, because for every subscriber we get, another dad out in the world stops thinking to themselves, hey, I've tried nothing and I'm all out of ideas. To catch us all up to speed, these two guys, Bedros Keuilian and Ray Cash Care, both very wild names if you ask me, created the very viral, very cringe alpha male boot camp where men would spend the equivalent of a great used car just to get yelled, abused, and humiliated for 3 days straight, all in the hopes of learning of what it's like to be a real man. And I would assume because of all the backlash that they received online, they got rid of the program, but very sneakily, under our noses this entire time, they were running the same program, but for teenagers. And it seemed to be rebranded as like this father-son retreat at a heavy discount of only $2,000 for the day, all to teach your son what it's like to be a real man in the real world. But let's hear from the organizers about what this actually is.
The Squire program is a 15-hour immersive course where we're literally going to take these young men through trials and tribulations of what it means to be a man. We focus on the family, fitness, finance, and faith.
So you're telling me in a span of 15 hours, you're going to teach these young teenagers of the trials and tribulations of what it's like to be an adult, on top of teaching them lessons about family, finance, fitness, and faith. Man, colleges must be shaking in their boots right now. What kind of secrets do you have that these institutions don't? Because you are speedrunning what seems like a college degree, multiple college degrees within 15 hours. So let's dive into what is actually in this one-day course.
Everybody, I want you to hear what's about to happen. If you me or ask me one more question on the way down, every one of you are going to crawl from here to the bus.
I need people in their 30s to weigh in. Does this video not remind you of Scared Straight? And I have spoken about this on the channel before, but we all know what happened to the kids on Scared Straight. If you don't know what it was a show set up where they took teenagers to the prisons because they're acting up in life. And it's like, hey man, if you keep acting up in life, this is where you're going to end up. And do you think that these kids learned valuable lessons on not to commit juvenile crime to end up in prison? Of course not. It backfired massively. This is just the budget version of that.
And here's even the worst part. You'll walk the whole time. And I'm calling you out not because I'm being a jerk, but because I care. Because I didn't have somebody doing this shit for me.
This is like a weird way to project that you didn't have positive role models in your life if you believe that you would punish a whole group of kids and let one kid not do the punishment because that kid is acting up. I don't know what happened in your life, but damn dude, I've been in therapy for years now, and it seems like you probably need it more than I do. Oh my God.
Your generation is the equivalent of seeing the Great Depression, how this country suffered. And it only got back up because of World War II. I share this with you because the pandemic was your Great Depression. We're in a defining moment right now. We are at war. Make no mistake about it. We are at war with the opposition.
I have to admit, we all have to admit, 2020 onwards, bit of a rough time. You know, I'm not downplaying that. It was a big change for a lot of people, but I feel like in this weird way, you're trying to facilitate something that doesn't exist. Like you're telling me that all of a sudden we came out of the pandemic and what we learned is like, hey, you know, like young dudes, we should punish those guys the most. We should like beat the crap out of those guys, you know? The way that he's trying to correlate the pandemic to World War II, two very different events if you ask me. Like, I don't think anyone is arming themselves ready for the Great War against broccoli haircut kids, all right? I just don't think that's happening. But for whatever reason, in this guy's mind, that's what he believes is happening in the world.
Breathe. Look at me. Come on. Don't stop breathing. Come on.
Man, stay hard.
Man, ice baths will never not be funny to me, especially in this context. You found a new way of me finding hilarious when it comes to ice baths, because you're telling me that this is supposed to teach a kid how to be a man. All you taught him is like, hey, sometimes the hot water is out. Sometimes the hot water is out and you gotta take a cold shower every once in a while. Like, what lessons are you teaching them? I feel like in this modern era, if you had to face extreme weather conditions, you probably have things in your arsenal to combat that, right? I live in Canada. Yeah, it snows here. And what do I have? Coats. It's not that big of a problem here, all right? I don't understand how taking an ice bath is supposed to teach you deep lessons in life. And I might be too harsh here when it comes to my commentary towards these physical things, but they did say it was educational as well, so let's see what type of education they're talking about.
You guys know what squire means, right? The squire? The squire is the knight's assistant. Like when you think about it, a knight who goes into battle 1 minute is a gentleman the next minute to a woman. He will lay down his cloak over a puddle of water for a woman to walk across. But in the very next breath, he will unsheath his sword and slice the throat of his opposition.
I take all of that back, what I just said before about hoping that there'd be something good and useful in the education system. It's not. It's probably worse than school, actually. Some of you might be thinking that I am being too harsh when it comes to the educational side of things. You're like, hey man, this is like a 30-second snippet out of like a 2-hour seminar, and you might be right in saying that. But if your best foot forward, if the thing that you're putting out there to promote this course is that clip when it comes to the education side of things, you're doing yourself a disservice, okay? I don't think people are running to sign up for the course or to learn about like being a slave to a knight. Like, what are you talking about, dude? So speaking of context, let's dive into their website and try to learn more about what this course is before I sign up for it. Ah, sweet. They're doing one of these right down the road from me in October. If I get 10,000 likes, I will sign up for that and I will go to it. I will spend my October near my birthday in Seattle doing an alpha male boot camp just for you. Their website spews just more of the same crap that we saw in the videos before about how boys are no longer men, but also to fight back a bit. I think it's normal as a young person in general, doesn't matter what gender you are, that it's okay to be lost, okay? It's okay to not understand what you want to do in life. People don't figure that shit out until much later, and that's fine. And I definitely feel like this approach of like men need to be strong is a very like narrow mindset when it comes to what being a man like actually is. Like, we're all individuals here, and being a man is so subjective. Take me, for example. Look at these hands. Look at them. Do you think these hands have touched a construction site in their life? Hell no. But I feel confident as who I am because, you know, I've done good things in my life that at the end of the day, if I had died, I'm like, yo, I did good. This was my favorite part of the website. The opposition does not want you to raise strong sons who can lead, show up with confidence, and live a purpose-driven life. Hollywood is celebrating that it's okay to be a weak, soft pushover, that men are just dumb buffoons and need to be told what to do and to be treated like boys. The school systems are pushing this BS narrative too. I don't know who you're talking to, but I don't think this is happening. Like, I honestly believe this sentiment of like men are under attack is this weird boogeyman that insecure men had created. What are you talking about, dude? Look at the president. Do you think men are under attack when people like that are in charge? I don't think so, buddy. I think men are definitely showing that they are in charge of everything in the world still, alright? We get it though. Your disguise being held accountable for shitty actions is an attack on being a man. And if you think that is your mindset, then you deserve to be a virgin and die alone. I want to know what movie you watched where you have now got this crazy mindset that Hollywood as a whole and schools as a whole are trying to teach men how to be weaker. Did you just watch like those Hallmark movies where it's always like, you know, the strong independent woman that goes home for the holidays and falls in love with the buffoon that used to bully her in high school? I can imagine that's what you watched one time for Christmas and you're like, hey, cut that shit out. I'm gonna make a course instead. I feel like you don't really learn anything in this day. I think the only thing that you learn is that if your dad doesn't yell at you, your stepdad will. And what kind of lesson is that? Learning to like never speak to your dad ever again? What a shit house lesson that you paid $2,000 for. If you want to bond with your kid, maybe find an activity that benefits the both of you, or a life skill that I think would benefit your kid. Not just like yelling and screaming at them into submission, but at the end of the day, if you want to have a bond with your kid, try to find something positive that can uplift them, okay? I think it's pretty obvious that you learn a lot more in life through something positive rather than something negative. And it still could be something physical, you know, maybe you could do martial arts together. Maybe it could be something like cooking or like business learning or pottery. I don't know. Basically anything that doesn't involve insecure men stealing $2,000 from you just to scream in your face for a whole day. And my solution to all of this type of crap is we need to bring back shame. We need to embarrass the hell out of these type of morons that create courses like this that prey on our vulnerable people in our society so they disappear and they wipe their entire digital footprint behind them, all right? Anyways, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.